Frank Rutledge, our last reader, is the author of poetry and short fiction, a musician, and popular host of 3 open mics. Modest Mike, third Wednesdays at the Sugar Grove Library. Harmonious Howl at Graham's 318. That's the 4th Thursday during the summer. Frank, when does that start, in June? May, okay. We've moved summer up a month. And Waterline Writers after our readers. He is a co-founder of Open Sky Poets and Early Risers Writers. That is a tongue twister. And a pillar of Waterline Writers, we would agree. He is published in A Cafe in Space, an Anais Nin literary magazine, Artsbeat, The Downtown Auroran, and Foxtails anthologies. Clothed in August Skin and Eat the Punchline, This Joke is Over, are $6 tonight. His haiku, Voice in a Whisper, is $5. Also available on Amazon. Please welcome Frank.
Thank you, Barbara. I wore my poet uniform, as you can see. Do that. I was trying to swap clothes with Christopher and get David's voice, and I would really rock tonight. I'm going to read a few of these small poems. I was inspired when I wrote this book by local visual artist Greta Bell, and she had done some wood block pictures, prints, and they were little whimsical things, a hen on a little wooden chair and things like that, and I thought, I want to do that with poetry, so this is my attempt at that. They're very short. Flannery's Southern Gothic creeps upon rats' feet on nights I can't sleep. And don't try to clap, because they're just... The cat sneezes in my opening eye, leaving dreams behind. That's a true story. In between radio static, a heartfelt sermon slips through. So that's what those are. Thank you. I'm putting together the books that I have back there are from 2007, 2008, and I'm putting together a brand new book called Tattered Square of Joy, and I'm going to read from that. I'm going to read from that right now. This is called Navigation. Bobbing in the vessel of her arms, our waters come together, our horizons become one. Cast off the compass, forget the North Star. We'll let our waves carry us away. Let us be each other's desert island treasure. And they're very short, so you don't have to clap. This is called A Painter Dwells on Early Morning. She, awake before others, in a quiet pocket of the world, and a solace of her own soul, with sketchbook and paint box, she enters the early morning. Like a priestess in a sacred place. Like a goddess, she lifts the daybreak colors with her palette and her brush, spinning the world free from the dark end of the day, orchestrating the blank canvas with lights and shadows, African violet, amaranth, and soft shades of amber. Thank you. This is called Natural Movement of Air. These expansive hours are a many-chambered vessel moved by the whip of gale-strong winds. Stir, shaken, and tossed in indecisive directions, and backyard trees wave like a row of inebriated sports fans. These vaporous hours, wild as raucous weather, an April madness lashes out on this lost weekend. and 2 wind-stirred canines teach me secrets on how to nap properly, the subtle skills to deep sleeping. My dreaming soars and uplifts like paper kites in a park's ocean of cloudy sky, this moving of gray thoughts. Thank you. Unmovable gray clouds breathing the sigh of a hermit. Chet Baker's horn in my head, my chest a cage without a bird. The singularity of my hands searching for another's. A near freezing drizzle in the trees. I call her name, but she only hears in a foreign language. Thank you. The sad music of gone away. Hearing the strains of violins, the clarinet playing, the voice of a mourning dove, timpani pounding menace, suffering my pain, a weathered sheet of music missing from the score, without audience, without overture, I hear the far-off kilter downbeats of a jalopy orchestra, a backfiring Buick coughing counterpoint, a spotlight Orpheus, I burst out a libretto of loneliness, a mad rooster crowing at midnight. This is the poem that was published in the Anais Nin Literary Journal. And how it got published is I usually post the poems that I've just worked on Facebook, and then I take them down shortly after that. This was posted, and I liked the page of the Anais Nin Literary Journal, and he got a hold of me and said, can I use that poem for the journal? And I said, yeah, that's cool. So it's a lesson to all you writers. If you wait long enough, they come to you. Oh, and I brought my poet's hand here tonight, too, so. Ode to a Melancholic. A midday sunlight summons me, momentarily tugging me from melancholy's grip. Paper cup of strong coffee, my only company. Colored leaves dance from bare branches, pulled by gravity and lifted by winds. These words obey and orbit between my inner and outer life. And again sunlight interrupts, stirring this poem of a gray day. Thank you. For some weird reason, I don't know why, I love jazz, but for some weird reason I got hooked on Tommy Dorsey lately. I don't know why, it's not my generation, but it's such great stuff. So he makes an appearance in this poem. Imagine the dancing we'd do. Lately, I've been listening to swing band records. Let's say Tommy Dorsey playing I'll Be Seeing You, and imagining a different time and we're together, and we're different people doing different things than today. We're in a hotel ballroom surrounded by revelers, or a candlelit apartment in downtown Chicago, and we are together, and we are happy being together, and we are slow dancing to a ballad sung by Chet Baker, something about love, and we are holding each other closely and making promises and fulfilling wishes. Did I mention there's a full moon? And it's our full moon, and you are beautiful, and the night is perfect, and you are perfect, and we are perfectly together. This is called A Great Believer. She is my religion. I flex my few muscles of faith, puffing out my chest like a great believer, spread out my works like a peacock its feathers. I walk across metaphorical waters as easily as a clown crosses a high wire. My devotion as clear as mountain air. My hymns for her resound in the rafters of heaven. I number my praises for her among the countless stars. This is called Pity the Poor Lover. always waiting for revelation, waiting for the uncovering of the mysterious act called loving strange creatures not loyal to laws or predictable ways. Down on bended knee I beg, and in surrender of love, tasting sweetness of flirtation, fleeting moments, miracle fruit, suddenly summer harvest. She, like the morning dew, a kind of sigh, vanishes. This is called a confessional poem for you. If I were to confess, my confessions would lead to a sweet trouble, to gentle offerings from what's behind the curtain of my person, and would warrant gasps of surprise like parade confetti. My confessions are not dangerous, forbidden as they are. So much of what goes on inside is a secret symphony. Let my silence be a tender kiss, my quiet be an embrace. You can sit across from me, never knowing constellations are being birthed behind my eyes for you. I wear a well-polished coyness, a calm hiding of all I cannot reveal, messages that only yearning can deliver. My longing is that, if you were to unravel me, all that would remain is only more of you. Looking for a certain poem. This was written for a friend. He'll know who he is. Oblivious machines are we. I have a friend who tells me that one day robots will have my job. I remind him that I'm unemployed. When the man-made machines are in charge, it will present us humans with endless hours of luxurious free time. Being unemployed, I will be one up on the masses. Animate the inanimate. If you see me coming towards you, greet me and say I look like an alarm clock ringing my ass off. There's so much wrong happening these days. The least I could do is wake you from the nightmare. Mental health rebuttal. Therapy only works if you're crazy. Or at least half the way there. A calm lake doesn't need to be settled. Chaos only needs to be cleared up when it's chaotic. Only a dirty floor needs to be swept. Only the loveless need to be loved. There's only so many times a sick person can hear, "How does it make you feel?" before it drives you nuts. The poetry instructor. Take the world that's presented to you this very morning and origami fold it into an artwork of raw emotion. Siphon the music that flows like warm honey between the caverns of heart and head. This endless sweetness is a poem. And lastly, best laid plans. Poets love to write about sex and death because that's all we really got. So this is about my last days. Best laid plans. I want a swing jazz record playing when I die, a celebratory send-off, or maybe Tom Waits punctuating the night sky, letting the luminosity in with his bestial howl. I want her to gather a fistful of wildflowers and wear them in her hair to dance barefoot upon the earth like the angels never danced. I want the sky to be full of heat lightning and all those loitering around to speak about my passion like it was a rare gem to be dug up and spent lavishly. I want her to paint on the canvas of longing, to spill herself in vibrant colors, a paintbrush and palette balanced upon her heart. I want a little brass band to march down foreign streets where little old widows will dance with their brooms to rumors about me, and young boys will pluck pieces of my imagination to be planted for next year's harvest. Or, on the other hand, fittingly, cast my remains to the owls and wolves. Thank you.